Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beers and Boost. I'm Barry.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Nathan.
All right. And this week we're going to be doing not World War beer, not the same beers. We're doing different beers in different locations because planning.
We're bad.
No, actually, as I was picking up beer, I was like, hey, what do you guys want to do again for beer? Left my phone in the car, and of course, Zach texts me as I leave my phone in the car to get the beer. So we don't have the same beers at all. I've got Scurvy Dog Ale. I'll put it a little kind of close. Scurvy Dog Ale from Norfolk Brewing out of Norfolk, Arkansas.
I left my beer can in the kitchen, but I have Maduro from Cigar City Brewing.
All right.
I have Commotion, which is that backwards to you guys?
Nope.
It's an APA from Great Raft out of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay. I've had some Great Raft. I have not had that one, though.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Which one do you want to start with?
I'm the worst taster, so mine can get out of the way in like 5 seconds.
Then I guess we'll start with mine because I read their description on their website. I'll do a little reading and drinking. Hello, friend. We are proud to call ourselves the makers of Nature's Beer. That's trademarked. Our ingredients are born and raised locally. Some are harvested from the wild. We believe this makes for an authentic and tastier brew. Our location is in the historic town of Norfolk, Arkansas, which sits at the confluence of the Norfolk and White River at the edge of the Ozark National Forest. Nature's Beer from the natural state. Enjoy. Please recycle. 6%. Now, I have to go ahead and just be this beer reviewer that puts his stuff right in camera, but I will put this up here so you can get a little bit of a light to it, a little bit of color. Yeah, it absolutely looks like a light brown ale. Mm-hmm. It's got a little bit of color maltiness to it that an IPA would. Well, if you read their description on their webpage, the Scurvy Dog, orange and grapefruit juice mixed and made into a beer? Question mark? Definitely not. But those are some of the notes and aromas you'll experience in this exceptional New England IPA. The complex formula used for this wonderful brew was brought to us by a local home brew club. We are proud to offer such fun, refreshing, and tasty concoction. This all day, any day beer is also perfect pairing with burgers, barbecue, and any spicy meal you love.
Hey, Barry, go back to something you said there.
Yeah.
You said the words New England IPA.
Yeah, this is not that. At least in appearance, it is definitely not a New England IPA.
I have never seen a New England IPA look like that. I have seen some red ales be like that.
It's not quite enough red to be a red ale, but yeah.
Like a light red ale or a dark.
That's ruining it. That's ruining all the light, but whatever. Tried.
It's not hazy.
It is not hazy, and it's not anywhere near light enough. It's supposed to be kind of like a slight, what's the look of wheat to it. It's not supposed to be a yellow beer, but kind of a gold color to it. Mm-hmm. That's more of a malty IPA, kind of akin to a Little Helper in color, actually.
Kind of, yeah.
The nose, grapefruit. Definitely some grapefruit in the nose. A little bit of grapefruit in the tongue, but it's pretty malty, pretty earthy. More akin to closer to a West Coast IPA than it would be a New England IPA.
They're supposed to be hazy and juicy and fruity, right?
Yes, and that's none of these things.
Yeah, and sometimes New England's should be a little overly dry. Yeah, no, but okay, so rethinking this as a West Coast IPA, how is that?
if it legitimately was a West Coast IPA with hints of little juiciness added throughout, because the grapefruit definitely comes through. It's definitely prevalent. I don't get the orange. I get the grapefruit. But I get a good hint of maltiness to it and really sweet bitter. And that's what I get. I do not get any nuances of New England IPA. So if I grade it as a West Coast IPA, it's pretty average. A good 2.75. It's not too bad. But as a New England IPA, that's probably a 1.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit the bill at all.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's not at all what they say it is, but it
No.
sounds like a pretty tasty beer.
It's not bad. If I graded it as just a beer itself, like how is this beer right out of the can? You don't know what it is. I would say probably a 3.25, maybe a 3.25, probably at high level 2.75 to 3.25. What's really interesting is I saw this at the the liquor store, and I was like, "What the hell's a scurvy dog ale?" Like that just sounds weird. Clicked the can open when I got it home, and I was like, "Cola? Like why would this smell like this? Why would this look like this?" The first can I had was actually not good. But the other 3 cans that have been through the 6-pack, not too bad. Overall, probably not worth buying again. But
Okay.
it's an experiment.
Yeah.
Experience.
I do want to call out anyone listening or watching. Sorry if you hear the mowers.
Yeah.
It's that time of year where the mowing commences. So, we've already mowed our yard twice.
Yeah.
If it wasn't raining so much, I'd have done mine by now.
I'm actually enjoying this play-by-play. Let's continue with this. Zach, what's the weed doing now?
Let's not continue that and move on to another beer.
I'll go since I don't have my beer in front of me. I had the beer earlier this week and have not been back to the store because I'm staying inside as much as possible.
Smart man.
But the commotion, it's fine. So the Commotion APA from Great Raft. They are out of Shreveport, Louisiana. It is they rate it as an American Pale Ale, which it's just what is the difference in you guys' mind of the difference between just like a regular Pale Ale and an American Pale Ale?
Well, what we're used to is different than a British style pale ale. A British style pale ale is akin to, it's a bitter. It's more closely related to an ESB, which an ESB isn't an actual brand, but that style of just a bitter with a hint of malt, low ABV. That kind of morphed into being the American version, which an APA is using American hops, not noble hops, but using an American hop with a little bit more alcohol and a little bit more bitter. Basically, the American APA is the beefed up British Pale Ale, just like the American IPA is a beefed up British IPA.
So I have some stats. It's 5.5%, and the hops that they use are Citra and Mosaic. And I did really enjoy drinking this beer. It didn't stand out like some of the other pale ales that we've had. It doesn't stand up to your Pseudo Sues or anything like that in terms of just oh wow, that's a great pale ale. But it's kind of like what you said on your beer, Barry, which is it was a very good drinker. Like it was very nice to drink. I mean, I don't normally go through a 6-pack in a week. I mean, I have been home more than normal, so but that's it was very easy to drink. It had a good amount of bitter. It was probably a little too sweet for my liking, but that's probably because it didn't have an IPA punch of bitterness. So,
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I think they tried to combat that with a little bit lower alcohol, because it's sitting right there at the 5.5. It's not high nor low. And they say the IBUs run around 49, so pretty low for a or about right.
49 sounds about right for an American style APA or an American Pale Ale.
So I was going to put it right. I think that they knocked it out of the park in terms of what they say it is, which is a hazy pale ale, and all the flavors came through like they say they want it to. So I was going to put it right at a 3. Okay. It's a good beer.
So you can read the can and know exactly what you're going to get and it should expect.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice.
Which actually might warrant, at least in merit, a little higher than a 3. Because they kind of, if someone accomplishes what they want to accomplish with a beer, then maybe you should give them a little more credit.
Yeah.
But in terms of just what I
preference.
like and what I thought of the beer compared to other beers that we've had, we've gone through so many, especially with World War Beer, where it's like, okay, I know where this sits. And I just, for instance, on Beer Advocate, it's like number 518, like, which is about right. It's a 3, like,
Yeah.
so
That sounds about right. Yeah.
yeah. So
So basically, what you're saying is, if you're looking for an okay pale ale, but you don't want Sierra Nevada, you want something more Legion, you could do worse.
yeah, I don't know. I actually haven't looked up Great Raft too much, but I do know. I don't know how extensive their distribution is. So it might be a very specific Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas distribution.
Gotcha.
Could be.
Well, Shreveport is pretty close to the Arkansas line, so
Well, and Texas. So
yeah. Oh, and Texas, yeah.
it's right there in the corner. So, but no, if you're wanting just a nice pale ale, pick it up. See if you like it.
All right. Good deal.
Yeah.
Zach,
Zachary?
what you got for us?
So, like I said, I've got the Maduro from Cigar City. It is a brown ale, and it is, get out of the cat, quite brown. Very brown,
It
actually.
is more looking like a porter than a.
hmm And honestly, the flavors are a little more portery to me. Since I forgot the can out there, I did look up their website. And let's see what it says here. So it says, did you know among the darkest colored and most complex cigars made in Tampa City's Ybor City is the Maduro, made from an overripe wrapper and exhibiting chocolatey and earthy flavors. We drew inspiration from these sophisticated cigars from Tampa cigar making history. And then their tasting notes. I didn't go for the aromas. So aromas reminiscent of toffee and chocolate macaroons belie the low alcohol content and moderate body and well-rounded English-style brown ale. Semi-sweet chocolate, almond, brown sugar flavors fill the palate, but quickly dissipate into a dry, clean finish with notes of coffee grounds. Which doesn't sound like a brown ale to me.
That's a
porter.
porter.
Right.
Yeah, like
And-
other than the biscuit caramely aspect to it, that's a porter.
And it is very toffee-y. It's pretty light body. A little bit of brown sugar. You do get a little almond at the end.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Carbonation. What's the carbonation like?
Not very high. It's not like... It doesn't attack. I almost feel like it's almost a little flat. Like there's not much carbonation to it at all.
Like a porter.
Right.
Okay.
So it's 5.5 ABV with 25 IBUs. So it's a very tame. It's a great porter. It's a really, really good.
It sounds like it's a light like a lighter flavored porter, because a porter generally tends to go more so to the vanilla, the roasty, the coffee, the chocolate, and that sounds like it has hints of it, but then
Yeah.
hints of a brown. It's like they took two recipes and put them together,
Kind
or
of.
two ideas and put them together.
There's a little bit of roasty malt, but it's really, really toffee. Which I mean, I really do like this beer. I think it's a great beer, but
It
Yeah,
sounds like a beer I would love.
Yeah.
I need to probably pick it up.
as a brown ale, though, I don't think I'm going to rate it that high. It's the problem.
Yeah, it sounds
Personally.
like it's a brown ale porter mix. It really does.
And had they billed it as that, because it's just straight brown ale, and it's brown and it's an ale, sure.
And it kind of sounds like there's a bit of like an uncredited cameo by a Dunkel, like just driving by.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, I think as a brown ale, really only like 225, like not that high. But as a beer by itself, if I'm going personal preference, like this is a solid 3.5. I highly recommend you go out and try this beer. Just don't go in thinking, oh, I'm going to go in for a brown ale. It's
A classic brown ale style.
is
Yeah.
not a classic brown ale.
Okay.
But very good beer. Highly recommend it. Cigar City does some great stuff, so check them out. But
I will
like
say,
them.
I mean,
This thing-
I've enjoyed the Cigar City stuff that I've had.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely. I think there's only one or two I haven't really cared for, and that was in their mixer pack. Actually, it was just one of them. Forget what was in that mixer pack. It's Highlight, their Citra Pale Ale, that Belgian
Libera.
wheat,
Firecracker and Space Pope.
the Goza. I think
that's Space
I think
Pope.
that's what was in it. I don't know if it was a Goza. I don't know. I forget. But of the four that was in, too much.
I think they do have a Goza out there.
They do have a Goza. I just don't remember if that was in the variety pack.
Space Pope is just an IPA.
No, that wasn't
Which-
it then.
It may taste like a Goza because obviously they're a little off on their description.
I mean, Scurvy Dog New England IPA. No, it's grapefruit West Coast.
That's a little closer to I think what this should look like.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a little less light in the camera than what I do, but it really looks a lot like a Little Helper. Like mainly because I've had Little Helper a lot lately. I mean, I just went through that entire keg, but it looks a lot like a Little Helper. The flavor wise though is it's a malty, earthy, bitter mixed with grapefruit. It's not at all what a New England IPA should be.
Mhm.
But other than that, I'm enjoying my glass that I have.
I said I really do like this beer, but it's not a brown.
Barry, how's your Two Hearted?
As soon as we get done here, it's going in a keg,
Ooh.
and it'll be ready
Nice.
probably Wednesday or Thursday.
I'll be down there Wednesday or Thursday.
All right, good deal.
I'm off on Friday.
Come and get some.
Yep.
I still got to brew my hoppy wheat. I haven't done that yet. But-
Hoppy wheat.
I mean, it's the spring. You got to have a hoppy wheat, something grassy, something light, something
Yeah.
airy.
More like Happy Wheat.
But no, that I think I'm gonna break this chair. I just moved in it, and I felt the bottom of it move. It's a cheap chair. It's a cheap chair, but it works really well with this desk. I love this desk. But no, the Bell's Two Hearted. I guess because we're kind of short in the beer this week. I'll talk about brewing a little bit.
There may be some
Originally-
beer news.
No, you look that up. I'll talk about some of the beer that I brewed. So that Bell's knockoff, it ended up being between a 1068 and a 1072. I don't know exactly what it was because I measured it 3 different times at 3 different droplets, and I think I had some water in my thing, so it could be more like a 1075. But I just went and cut it in the middle and said 1070. 1070 down to a 1010 attenuation equals 85% attenuation for a final gravity, like I said, of 1010. That gives an alcohol content of 7.9%. So it's a little higher than Bell's Two Hearted. I think Two Hearted 7.2.
That sounds right. That was off the top of my head 7.2. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit higher than what I was aiming for. The yeast was just extremely happy. I sent you guys a picture of it. Like it blew out of the carboy for 3 days. Like it was so high krausening for 2 or 3 days.
It was a very
Like
high
when I made the starter, I pitched it into my starter, and usually it takes about 6 or 7 hours before you get yeast activity in the beaker, basically. In an hour it was krausening. And so that night I just pitched it. Like the starter only went for about 6 hours, and then I pitched it into the beer, and I woke up the next morning and just I had to change out the vessel of Star Stand that the blow off tube sits in 4 different times. Yeah, it was extremely good. I have to shout out to Imperial Yeast. Like if you guys want to sponsor us, I am a massive proponent of Imperial Yeast. I've loved them for years. I moved from White Labs the moment I had Imperial Yeast, and I've never had a bad beer. I've never had an infection, which, I mean, I'm a clean brewer as it is, but
You're a clean
their
person.
beers, I am a clean person, but their beers always finish clean. They always finish very well. I've never had under attenuation. I've had lower than I wanted, but I've never had under attenuated beers from Imperial Yeast. Really, really good stuff. And hopefully we can have see how Barry does with a Two Hearted next week.
I'm excited. All right, so there's a couple bits of kind of big news. Corona stops beer production.
Yeah.
So Corona beer is temporarily suspended in Mexico because of the coronavirus pandemic.
I saw something across my feed this morning that the South were not doing the toilet paper tissue stockpile. They were beer stockpiling, panic
Yeah.
buying beers.
I did see that.
So-
I didn't. I saw the headline. They were like going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And Massachusetts restaurants can now sell wine and beer to go.
Mhm.
So a lot of states are doing that now. Nice.
Yeah, so there's quite a few states doing like to go or like deliveries are coming in now. I'm hoping
Mhm.
Arkansas will let beer deliveries because I don't like going to the liquor store. But
New Province and Bentonville are doing deliveries.
nice. I think Columbus House might be, and I know Ozark is doing like curbside pickup.
A lot of them are doing curbside, but I know for sure New Province and Bentonville are doing deliveries, and a lot of them are doing. Sorry, New Province is not with Bentonville. It's Hawkmoth who's with Bentonville. Hawkmoth and Bentonville are together. New Province is doing their own thing, but I think all three of them are. If you are in the Northwest Arkansas region, those three are doing deliveries. I don't know how far the delivery is though. Like those are all up in the Bentonville, Rogers area, and me being down in Fayetteville, I don't know if I can get them.
Yeah.
Zach, you being in Lowell, you probably could.
I know Columbus House did extend into Benton County recently. I think I remember someone saying that.
Gotcha.
And a little bit of news on Ozark. I don't remember if we talked about this last week. They did sadly have to lay off their entire staff, aside from the two owners who are still brewing and hoping to make it through and get their team back. But it's kind of the business move they had to do to keep the business alive, and we definitely want Ozark to keep going. But hopefully their staff is doing okay. I hope.
I mean, everybody's being affected by this. Like it's
And
crazy.
speaking of which, I actually I have a coworker whose family owns a local Mexican restaurant, and they do. Arkansas, or at least Fayetteville, is allowing closed container alcohol sales with food to be takeout and delivery. And what they have is they have a huge stock of their Mexican restaurant. They have a huge stock of Coronas, Dos Equis, Modelo's, stuff like that.
Pacifico.
And so if I would say also that's one of their higher ticket items in terms of profit that they make. So if you want to support a local business and and you have the means, the fiscal means to do so, throw an alcoholic beverage in there if you can.
Even if you don't drink it, it's kind of more so like it gets them to where they can get new inventory of it, but also gives them more money. Because even if you just donate money, great, but they kind of have to get rid of the old stock, and if they have to throw away something that's expired, then they're just losing that money again. So
yeah.
And if you're buying a 24 pack of Corona, that's $12-$13, selling them for $6-7 a piece. Like they can get a lot of money back by getting a couple Corona sales.
Well, and then on top of that, I mean, honestly, like in this specific case, you could do a lot worse with some carne asada tacos than like a Dos Equis Amber. Like,
absolutely,
I love this.
Absolutely,
that's my favorite Mexican beer, I think.
Negro Modelo.
Yep, I'm there with Barry.
That's a very good one, yeah.
I'm there with Barry.
Now, I do have to question this. Your coworker that your family does own the restaurant or whatever, do they do delivery of chips and salsa?
They include chips and salsa with every order.
Okay. Because I've been really just wanting chips and salsa so much that I went and got all the ingredients and made chips and salsa myself. I just wasn't sure because it takes 30 minutes to do it yourself, and sometimes I just want to stop by and just pick some up.
Hell, even then,
and
a really just canned tomatoes, onions, cilantro, lime, blender, 5 minutes done for something
That's
easy.
What I did basically. I mean, a little more than that, but
you always do more than that.
But you know what? Like I make a really decent salsa, and I always make a big batch of it when I do. There's something about someone else making it for you.
Exactly. Like you don't have to. That's kind of what I love about it. Is like I really just want the fresh chips because the salsa I can always do really well, really easy, pretty cheap. But like the fresh chips are so much better than out of a bag. Even the bad restaurant chips are better than bag chips.
Yeah.
So.
I want chicken salsa now. And it's enchiladas.
Enchiladas. Tonight is jackfruit.
Oh, nice.
I hadn't even thought about it.
We are doing just some barbecue pork chops.
Ooh, very nice, very nice. I gotta go to the store tomorrow because we're out of food. But
we have a lot of canned stuff and rice, but proteins are kind of don't have a ton.
That's why we're doing a lot of hopefully you guys out there are first of all interested in what we're talking about. this podcast has like jumped off the rails a little bit, but
that's just us.
No, we're doing a lot of faux meat for the upkeep on it. Like faux meat lasts a lot longer and it freezes well. Mm-hmm. So we're like basically what we've been doing for planning is like I'll go and I'll buy 2 or 3 weeks worth of food, but like after about a week of it, because I hate freezing meat. I hate the idea of frozen meat because the crystallization that happens just breaks down the meat to where it just never has the right texture. So I get fake meat or faux meat substitutes, and that lasts a lot longer. Sorry, Zach, go ahead.
We got a 6-pack of steaks. So we used 2, refrigerated 2, froze 2. Then used the freezer ones, and then went back to the freezer ones. Those turned out damn good. The freezer ones were actually the best. Granted, I marinated them for 6 hours in like a curry sauce, which was weird. I had some curry stuff. I was like, let's just see what the fuck happens. It was really freaking good. Had a great crust.
I mean, you can. And Barry, you're right in terms of the texture, the quality of the meat. Like it's going to be hindered by the freezing process. But like there are like if that's how you need to stock up, if you have a large family and you need to just get a huge bag of Sam's tilapia fillets, you can season, marinate, and sauce the crap out of tilapia.
Absolutely.
And it's just a base. It's just a protein for you. Like
you can make that work. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, Barry's not gonna like it, but Walmart has. You can get like a 10-pound bag of frozen chicken breasts that last for a long time, and they come out fine.
I will never buy that kind of chicken ever again in my life.
I'll make you some of my chicken. It turns out pretty fucking good.
I can taste that type of chicken. It's something weird about it. Like for not eating it for so long. No offense to anybody that does that or has to do that or likes doing that. It's just the kind of chicken I've eaten for so many years. I can taste when it's not free range, like happy chickens. It's not that it's bad. It's just the other stuff is so much better that I just can't go back. So not that I think your chicken's bad, Zach. It's just I'm so used to the other type of chicken
tacos now.
But now hopefully you guys are able to figure out how to eat well, eat healthy. You can't just eat a whole bunch of potato chips and macaroni and cheese from a box. Find a way to eat something that gives you some kind of substance, get some vegetables in. Frozen vegetables, unlike meat, freeze really well. Go ahead and get those flash frozen broccoli, the cauliflower, the green beans, the peas. Those do really well. And eating greens are massively important.
If you want to get your veggies in, I've been doing this so much lately, but rather than having a base of rice or something like that, do a steamer bag of broccoli, do a steamer bag of green beans.
Absolutely.
Put your doesn't matter what, Italian, Indian, whatever, chicken, pork, anything. Use that as a base. And if anything, it adds flavor to it rather than just having like rice.
Absolutely.
We use cauliflower a lot in place of rice just because I like cauliflower. So.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing for months because of keto. But yeah, it's there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, hopefully you guys are able to stay healthy. Hopefully you're able to get what you need. Arkansas has not gone to a full lockdown effect yet. We're like one of the last states to do that.
Last 5 or 9 or something, I think.
I think 2 as of yesterday.
Seriously?
Yeah. So hopefully Arkansas will get that way and we'll finally start flattening that curve out. But thankfully beer's here and beer will help us flatten our curve. Mm-hmm. Not this curve.
Nope.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yep.
But I guess there was a reason I lost weight even though it wasn't COVID. So
all right.
That's all I've got. Thanks, guys.
We ending this? Is this done? We good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Stay safe.
Have a great week, everybody.
Yeah. I'm gonna awkwardly leave this entire long section in again.